Hi, this is Janie from Janie's Journals, and I'm back with another quick little reference setup that I made this morning. A couple weeks ago, or last week, whenever it was, I had shared this tag topper booklet, and I use this as reference whenever I'm making projects and I have a tag that I need to figure out some way to decorate the top of it, but I'm tired of just sticking string through it or sticking ribbon through it. And this is a reference to remind me of the different ways that I can top the tags. And I like this. I use it a lot. I've actually had this one probably about 3 or 4 months now. And I thought this morning I was going to make something similar for tag shapes, because sometimes whenever I'm working on a project, I was working on this one night before last. I was working on a project and I wanted a different shaped tag, but I didn't know what I wanted, so I went on Pinterest and started looking there, and then I started looking on YouTube, and I used Google Images. Anyway, I thought, well, with all the different tag shapes that there are, I would just throw some into a little ring so that I can use it for reference rather than having to bring up my computer and having to find, 2 or 3 different websites to come up with an idea. So this is what I did. It doesn't look as pretty as this one, and I'll put this link below just in case you're interested. And it's not as pretty, it's not as cohesive or decorated, but it'll get the job done for me. This first one is what I would call a ticket tag. It's shaped like a ticket, and I apologize for my camera. I had the bright idea this morning to change the entire setup of my camera, and I can't get it to go back the way I had it. So anyway, I'll work on that later. But this is a ticket tag, and it's shaped like a ticket. This one opens at the top. You could open it at the side or at the bottom, however you choose to do it. And I did make a few examples. Well, I pulled some examples out of my ephemera stash, and then I did make a couple. This is one that I started making, and I know it's really large, but it is a ticket tag, one of those that folds out. This is an old book page that I found, and I thought it was pretty cool. But this will go in one of my junk journals. So there's that tag. And then I have this little tag. It's a tag with an insert, and this one's kind of stiff, but you can pop this in here. It's got that little window, and here is the Better Made example that I have of that. And the back side you could put lines on for journaling or whatever you wanted to do. And there's you could make this in this direction, or you could make it where your tag pulls out from the bottom. There's just these are just ways to get my brain in a creative mode, to spark ideas. So there's that one. This tag is it's a normal, dog ears cut off. I did use a slot punch, which I have. Sorry for all the racket. I used a badge slot punch for that. And my example of that is this one. And what I did here is I used a stamp, one of these stamps, and I know that's probably a little bit shiny. This is the one that I used. It says Grin. And I've got a whole set of alcohol markers, and I'm trying to use those more. And I used these alcohol markers, and I just colored all of this in, and then put a tag on it. But it's just a different shape. It's a little short, squatty tag. And then the next one I have is actually a window tag. And I put 2 layers of this is the frame of the tag. And I put 2 layers of that, and then I used 2 layers of this craft plastic. This stuff is kind of thick, actually. And I got it off of Amazon, but it's thick enough that when you go to punch your hole in it or anything, you want to punch just one single thickness of this, because this is hard to punch a double thickness of. So this one I just sandwiched a die cut in between there. And my example is this one. Can't see it. And I used my die cut bird cage, and I sandwiched that in between 2 layers of the film and then 2 layers of the frame. Stuck a little bird on there and a sentiment. I like that one. That's one that I don't use often enough because I don't think about it. Here's another way that I use that plastic, that craft plastic. I used a stamp, and I just stamped on here a postcard stamp, and then I backed it on just some craft paper with a little tag. So you can do something like that. And then I've got a couple more examples here. This one is I just used a piece of the craft plastic, and I actually made a tag out of it. I know it's really hard to see, and just stamped the definition of memories on there. And then this one, this is more of a technique than a tag shape, but it's to remind me what I can do with this craft plastic. And I just used alcohol inks and put that on the back side of that tag. And then this one is a tag that it can actually swivel like this. And I used a background stamp. It was this lace background stamp that I used on it. So you can do that. I had another one, and I don't know what's happened to it because I had used a text background stamp. I don't know where it's gone. But anyway, you get the idea. This tag is a little tag that has been, it opens at the top, but I cut out a sliver of the middle section, and I made this craft plastic cover the back side of it. And I did that. This is my example here. And I actually used a die like this one, and I cut this edge out and then this edge out and separated them. And this one I put the craft plastic in between just a section of it, but when you open it, that's kind of noticeable. I wouldn't do that again. So there's that one. And then this one is just simply a tag, and it's got a little die cut frame. I've got all kinds of these. I have a Cricut, so I cut out a bunch of things, and I just kind of hang on to them, and whenever I need something quick, I can pull those out. But this one is using the packaging, the really flimsy packaging that like stamps are in, or different kinds of embellishments that you can buy at the store. And here's my example, which is not anything fancy, but you could dress it up with, you know, all kinds of pretty stuff. But there's that one. And then the next tag that I have has little doors on it, like this. It opens this way. Here's my example of that. And again, I use one of those little die cut frames. And I just tied this so that it opens like that. I didn't decorate it much. It's just kind of to, you know, spark your creativity. The next one I like this one because it looks like just a tag. And these things here, I don't even know what you call those. I've got 3 different size hole punches, and I just punch a bunch of those out. Open that up. Different sizes, different colors of material, and I keep those on hand, and then whenever I need one of these hole reinforcers, then I just punch whatever size I need in the center for my brad or whatever. And yeah, just kind of have them on hand. And so when you pull this out, it looks like just a regular tag, but on the back side, it has this little closure. And you open that up, and there's a little tag, a little spot for a tag in there. I thought that's kind of fun. This one sticks, but you get the idea. I like that as well. And this one is, I was just messing around, and you know, the tag shape is just a rectangle that I've trimmed the corners off. And I used this plastic from a box of cookies or something. I'm not even sure where this came from, and put it through my embossing machine, and it turned out so cool. And I used StazOn green ink to just run across the back of that to ink that up. I've made this little pocket that it can go in, and it doesn't stay on the ring at all, so I'm going to have to either attach it. I may just staple it to the outside of it to just remind myself that I can, you know, put that in a pocket. And I have this one that, again, from the back side, it just looks like a plain tag, but when you pull it out and you flip it open, you can either put paper in here, or you can put tickets in here. This is one that I did, and you open this one, and it has just a place for a couple little tickets in there. And the way I did the top, so that it doesn't, you know, completely go through, I opened up with my craft knife. Let's see, this side you can probably see better right here. I opened up just a tiny slit in the fold of that, and I run my thread through that and tied it up that way, so that it's not in any way keeping it from opening, or I don't have to put it on there real loose or anything. It's like a little Matchbox ticket holder. And this one is the same idea, but I put a little closure thing on here that I've had for years and years. And when you open this one up, it's got the little paper pad. So I think that's kind of a different thing to do for a tag. And when it's in the pocket or the tuck, you can't really tell from the outside what it's hiding back there. This is a tag that just simply opens from the side. And again, you could have it open from the bottom, or you could have it open from the top, or just different ways to fold a tag. This is in here to remind me that I can use, make the tag rounded like this one is on the bottom, and it opens up. You can round it at the top, or you can round it on both ends. I've used, or this is my example for that. And it's got, you know, the ears are cut off, but then the bottom of it, I've got it rounded. And it's just a simple little tag, but with a little, just a slightly different shape to it. And the way I do my bottoms, I mean, there's probably all kinds of ways that you can do this, but I have this glass bowl that I sometimes put on my desk when I'm working on something, and put my small pieces in there so that they're accessible but not loose everywhere. And I'll just put that at the bottom and trace around it and then cut it out. Really, really easy to do. So, got that one. And then I have in this that I didn't necessarily make any kind of examples of. I've got just some book page tags, and this one has got like a V-shaped end to it. This one is a V shape as well, but I've rounded it. It's kind of hard to see there. I've rounded the top of it. And then this one is like a flatter V shape. And then these, like I said, I have a Cricut. So these are just some tags that I'm able to make on my Cricut machine. And it's just to remind me, you know, that if I'm really stuck, I can get on there and see what I can come up with on that. And then this one, I know this is a technique. It's not necessarily a tag shape, but I don't care. It's my booklet, and that's where I put it. I used a stencil, and I used some modeling paste, and I know this is really hard to see. Let me see if I shut this light off. That doesn't help much, does it? But anyway, it is just a stencil with modeling paste, and it's just kind of to remind me that I can do that technique as well. So anyway, that is it, and I appreciate you stopping and looking. If you have any questions, let me know. This was fun doing all these examples. I did these in the last couple of hours, and you guys have a great day, and I really do appreciate you stopping to watch.